Good morning. Good morning. I used to be a teacher and I want to know if you're awake. I think when you come towards the end of a panel, you have an easy job, but you also have a difficult one because much has been said. And that's the easy part and the hard part. What I want to do is to share some of my thoughts upon receiving this topic. We've had a lot from my colleagues on the panel. We've had the ideological. We've had many ideas and many thoughts shared with us this morning. And what I want to do is kind of divide the topic between state power and political organization in terms of my comments this morning. We are currently, I think, witnessing very clear examples of how state power can be effective, can be strong, or can be weak, and therefore ineffective. We have seen whether it's a disaster like the earthquake in Haiti have an impact that or have fail to have a response because you have a state that is weak for many reasons. We have seen situations, we've heard a lot this morning about the crisis that the globe is facing, whether you're talking about the financial crisis, the energy crisis, the food crisis, and depending on which country or which state you are located geographically, the impact and the response very, very much differs. So when we look at state power, when I think about state power, I think that at this time in history, the states that we have are able to respond or not respond depending on whether you are in a state that is in the global south or in the north, in a state that is strong or in a state that is weak, in a state that is wealthy or not wealthy. Because even in the south, we have states that have strong economic basis on which to respond and to react, and therefore that matters. I spent many years working on issues related to the World Bank and the IMF. And one of the big struggles that we had with these institutions is the double standard that they applied depending on whether a country was a borrower or a lender, and they continue to do this. We have seen, for instance, with the financial crisis, that when Iceland fell apart, the terms of the bailout that they got compared to, say, maybe Indonesia a decade ago or more, or South Korea, is very, very different. So what should people on the left or progressives desire for their states in order for the states to be able to deliver on the demands that we make on our governments? What should people on the left desire in terms of their own governments in a specific country, but also acting on a multilateral level? I will leave that question to you to be able to answer however you want to answer it, and perhaps when we have the question and answer session, we can address that. The other thing I want to say about state power, and it's something that, again, within the context of Haiti, we've very much been debating. What does it say in this time in history that the only mechanism, the only entities that we have to respond to crisis, to humanitarian crisis, are based within the military structure? That we have all the civil society organizations, all the humanitarian organizations, but that for governments, the only people they can send, the only structure they can send soldiers, they can send the military to respond. And that, of course, has an impact in terms of the quality and the kind of help that people who are in crisis, the people who are suffering and who need support from their governments and from the governments of the world get. Because the soldiers go in with their guns, and even if they are handing out water, it's water in one hand and a gun in the other. We have to ask ourselves, what kind of a message are we sending to people, even when we are saying to them, we are here to help? We do not have very good, we've not had very good experiences with people who hold guns in one hand. It doesn't matter if they're holding water in the other hand or they're holding a Bible or whatever it is that they're holding. It is not, I do not believe that this is where we need to be in terms of our time in history. Let me move on to the issue of political organization. And in thinking about this, I have thought about this being about us, all of us, you, me, all of us together. We are here on the 10th anniversary of the World Social Forum process. It has been about organizing, whether we are talking about political organizing or political power or social power, but it has been about organizing. Later today, very near here, we will have memorial services for Dennis Brutus, our colleague from South Africa, who died in December, and for Daniel Ben Said, who are people who have been very, very political and very committed organizers. I don't know much about, very much about Daniel Ben Said, but I know quite a great deal about Dennis Brutus.